Hi everyone, this is my Information Network Security course shell. I started off here on the course homepage, tried to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing for students rather than the cookie cutter template that's given. The only announcement I have right now on my homepage is a welcome message, just to simply make sure that their email address that's on file is up to date, and if they don't use their DTCC email, to have one forwarded to it, because we will constantly be using email to introduce modules and topics on a weekly basis to stay in contact. From our course homepage, we can go to Getting Started, where I provide a lot of information about myself, tips to be successful. So right here we have my Welcome to ISY 243 welcome presentation. Kind of gives them a little bit about myself, some contact information. Here we go. And so it kind of just walks through a little bit about myself, some of my hobbies, family, friends at work, information about the course, so on and so forth. So they can look at that at their leisure. I have some tips to becoming a successful student. And so here it's just some typical things for students to be aware of, and ask questions if they have comments about knowing their sources and resources, where they can get help, who they can go visit. Next, I have this nice video that in Firefox sometimes doesn't like to show, but basically about how to fail a class. And the students get a good kick out of this each year, and so I kind of keep it on there because it's a nice little video.
Yes, but I really need to talk to you about my grade in your class. Okay. I will wait to eat my lunch, even though it's 4.
Also have a link to Blackboard, CCIT technology resources for students if they have issues or don't know how to use discussion boards. I like to include discussion boards a lot into my courses, and so how to create a thread. There's walkthroughs and tutorials for that, so they can use those and look at them if they need them.
Threads in an existing forum.
I also have some links to the help desk, how to install Firefox because that's the recommended web browser, some additional resources, learning support, the handbook for students. So this is all resources for them if they'd like to kind of look through it and review it. Next, I have my Instructor Information page, which I just kind of list how to get in contact with me, where I'm at, and I post my office hours in a little easy to read format so that they can see when I'm accessible. I usually tell my students that I'm kind of available anytime as long as I don't have a prior engagement, but here are my posted office hours. Next, we have our syllabus and schedule, so kind of a lot of the college-wide documents that we post. Here we have a link to our college-wide 243 syllabus, and that's just the generic syllabus that they get to go through, read. Sometimes I have them answer like 3 questions on it and email those back as their first assignment to kind of make sure and ensure that they have read the syllabus for the course. I have a tentative schedule. But I say that, keep in mind things can change based on unexpected events. But this we kind of consistently work through with grades. I like to use the 1,000-point grading system. It's something my predecessor used. It outlines what weeks, and this was for this past semester that we just finished, and dates that should have and be up to date on readings, when we have our quizzes, final exam, how the grading policy works, what constitutes an A, B, C, or F for the course. Next, I have my course policies, which kind of just reiterates the grades. Something we also put in here is that basically you can't have any assistant on quizzes. They're not open book. It's hard to really enforce that in an online course, but we try to hold our students accountable. And the last, I have a link to the actual textbook with the ISBN number, publisher, the price at the bookstore. And I thought this was a pretty cool feature when I found it, that you can incorporate in your shells for any course textbook that is in the bookstore. After that, we have our learning materials. So what I like to do is I create modules. And so I incorporated just a simple module, which is kind of like the first day, second day learning module. So it outlines what the objectives are that the student should get out of this chapter. And then it organizes and lays it out in a sequence. I'll put student preview on so we can kind of see that. So instead of just having a folder where all the information is just kind of placed in there, what happens here is it kind of organizes and lays it out like, oh, okay, so we're going to go, I should be going over the course Instructor Introduction, I should review the syllabus, conduct a skills survey, and they can maneuver through, okay, I'm going to do the readings. I posted chapter 1 because every year somehow in the printing of this book, we always seem to get a couple copies where the first 2 chapters are missing 6 or 7 pages. So I post the PDFs of them that I've gotten permission from the publisher. So until we rectify those couple situations, students don't fall behind. I like to start off with a think about it to get my students kind of engaged, just like some current topics in the news, something we talked about last time, some kind of extended discussion question. And then I post my presentation, but it's nice in this format to kind of have everything in a sequence rather than just kind of dumped in a folder. There's some book videos that go along with it. Activities. Here I've posted a discussion board question. And so what I like to do is sometimes post an article or pose the questions outside of the discussion board so they have some time to think about it. And then also I'll give a link in my PowerPoint to the discussion boards, which I then reiterate the presentation. And any activities that I have them do, I kind of post throughout these learning modules. The only thing is in the learning modules, I keep everything to student engagement activities for the lesson. And any graded assignments or exams, I kind of hold in a separate category. So I'm going to exit student view because not all the categories are populated, and so I don't want them to disappear in the navigation pane. So over here, I have a link to the discussion boards. If they want to go directly there, they already know what the topic is, they've thought about it, they want to come back, they don't want to go through the learning module again. But as I mentioned, anything that's graded assignments, like discussion boards, assignments, and exams, I kind of have my own menu over here for them. And so all the graded assignments that they have to do are pre-populated in the assignments tab. So they know to go here, they have their intro email as the first assignment that I have them do. They open it up and they can see the information they need. They can submit it. In this case, this one, they're actually sending me an email. So I know their most up-to-date email address that they would like to use. Any exams that I post in here. I have them password protected. I distribute the password and the time frame depending on how the course is being created. Sometimes they have like, a day, a week, a few days to complete it. And then the typical emails, you can access everybody. You can email the course leaders like me, the instructional coordinator, department chair, all student users, just the instructors, their grades, and some additional support links. So I hope you guys learned something, and thank you.